everyone, and welcome to Sunday School. I'm going to go ahead and start with a song that I really love that my children taught me, and they learned it when they were little. They learned it from their choir director, Miss Betty Lou Hubbard, and I've been thinking a lot about her these days, so I just decided to do the song that reminds me of her, and we've done it before. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the church. Here is the church. Here is the steeple. Open the door. There are the people. Close the door and let them pray. Open the door and they all walk away. And here is the song that she would do with my kids. We just did it a few weeks ago, so sing it with me. I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All who follow Jesus all around the world, yes, we're the church together. The church is not a building, the church is not a steeple, the church is not a resting place, the church is the people. I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All who follow Jesus all around the world, yes, we're the church together. We're many kinds of people with many kinds of faces, all colors and all ages too, from all times and places. I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All who follow Jesus all around the world, yes, we're the church together. And when the people gather, there's singing and there's praying, there's laughing and there's crying, sometimes all of it's saying, I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All who follow Jesus all around the world, yes, we're the church together. Yes, we're the church together. And I love saying hey to my church family. Hi, church family. I hope you're doing well today and that you had a good week. For the past couple weeks, we've been talking about the story of Moses. And let's see, the first time we did it, and you watched the video, he was a baby, remember? And the king or the pharaoh was going to kill all the baby boys, and so mama hid the baby boy in a basket and sent him down the river, and the princess ended up finding him and raising him in the palace. And when he grew, last week when he grew up, he was noticing that the pharaoh wasn't treating people very nicely in Egypt, and so he left Egypt and he started a family. And one day when he was out with his sheep, he saw a bush that was on fire. You remember that? And then it spoke. And we've been singing the song, and I'm not going to sing the whole thing, but I'll do the different verses we did. It went like, for the first week it was, there was a baby in a basket floating down the river, M-O-S-E-S, 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 and Moses was his name. And then last week we did, he went, saw a burning bush and heard the voice of God, M-O-S-E-S, 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 and Moses was his name. And this week in the video, which you'll see down here, and you can click on it and watch it. Always have to skip ads for some reason, but that's not a problem. But anyway, this week he does what the voice in the bush told him. God told him to go to the Pharaoh and tell him, let my people go, because he wasn't treating the people right. And Moses, he didn't think he was ready for that at all, but he did it. Moses, who was really not an important person, went and to talk to the most important person in the whole land of Egypt. He stood before him and he told him, God has told me to let my people go. Well, the Pharaoh wasn't very nice about this and shooed him away and said he wasn't going to do this. But anyway, so I stuck this verse into this song. He went and he went and asked the Pharaoh, let my people go. M-O-S-E-S, 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 and Moses was his name. He went and saw the Pharaoh and said, let my people go. M-O-S-E-S, 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 and Moses was his name. Well, the Pharaoh wasn't a very easy person to deal with. And Moses said, God has told me to tell you to let my people go. And the Pharaoh said, no. And Moses said, but you'll be real sorry, because a plague will happen if you don't let my people go. And the Pharaoh said, I can deal with a plague. So in this story that you're going to see in this video today, the people of Egypt had to deal with not one plague, not two, not three, but 10 plagues. And it was a plague is something horrible that happens, and you'll see in just a minute. I'm going to show you some pictures while I talk about these plagues, and down here attached to this video you can find a book you can make where you can write about the plagues and color them, all the 10 different plagues if you want to. There's an activity sheet where you put the plagues in order, and there's a coloring sheet on there too. So let's see what plague came first. The 10 plagues. See the burning bush? And this is Moses, who went to see the Pharaoh, and he said, let my people go. But the Pharaoh said, no. He said, you'll be sorry. And he was right, because God sent the first plague, and that was turning all the rivers' water to blood. Blech. That must have been horrible, because it would kill the fish. And I don't know if you've ever smelled a dead fish, but whew, they smell and awful. And it would have just been yucky. You couldn't drink the water. It would have been horrible. But that's the first plague, and it lasted for 7 days. And it was so awful that finally the Pharaoh called for Moses and said, please make this go away. Make this blood go away. And Moses said, I will, if you let my people go. And Moses said, the Pharaoh said, anything, just make the water come back, and I will let your people go. So Moses changed the blood back to the water, and guess what? They didn't get to go anywhere because the Pharaoh changed his mind. And Moses said, you'll be sorry. And then came plague number 2, frogs. Not just one, not just 2, but tons of frogs, and they were everywhere. They were in their houses, they were in their beds, they were under their feet, they were in their clothes, they were on top of them. It was horrible. And the Pharaoh was like, and he finally got tired of it, and he said, get Moses over here. And he said, if you'll get rid of these frogs, I'll let your people go. And so Moses, of course, got rid of the frogs. But that Pharaoh changed his mind again. Then Moses said, you'll be sorry. And the third plague was lice. And I don't know if you've ever seen lice, but they get in your hair and on your skin, and they bite, and they're itchy. And they're really hard to get rid of. And he sent whole bunches, and everybody had them, and they were itchy and awful. And finally the Pharaoh said, get Moses in here, and you get rid of these lice, and I'll let your people go. I bet you kind of guess what's going to happen next. He got rid of the lice, and the Pharaoh changed his mind. Yep. So the fourth plague is bunches and bunches of flies. Oh, everywhere. And they got in the houses, and they got in their clothes, and they ate things, and they destroyed things, and it was awful. And of course, the Pharaoh called Moses in and said, I'll let your people go, get rid of the flies. Now, he's getting a little bit tired of all these things, so hopefully he's going to change his mind and actually let the people go for good. Let's find out. But you probably know, since this is plague number 4, that he's got a few more to go. Anyway, so Moses got rid of the flies, and the Pharaoh changed his mind. Moses said, you'll be sorry. And this time the plague was a sickness for the animals, and they got sick and they died. And these were animals that gave milk and fur and food to them, and it was awful. And all the animals, the cows and the sheep, all of them died. And the Pharaoh said, get Moses in here. I'll let your people go if you make this go away. And you guessed it, they got rid of the disease, but the Pharaoh changed his mind. And the next one, the next plague that happened was, all these sores on their skin, and it was so awful, and they really, really hurt. And the Pharaoh got him, and all his people got him, and he said, Moses, I will let your people go. Please clear up our skin. And this time he almost let him go, but then he changed his mind. And then came horrible storms of hail that broke all their crops and destroyed their food. Gosh, and all their animals are gone. Their food they were growing's gone. What are they going to eat? And the Pharaoh knew they were in trouble without food, so he said, I'll let your people go. Please make this hail go away. And Moses did, but the Pharaoh changed his mind. And then came thousands and thousands of locusts, which we call grasshoppers. And same thing, I'll let your people go if you make them go away. And then he changed his mind. And then came 3 days of total darkness. Nobody could see anything. And you guessed it. He said, if you turn on the light again, I'll let your people go. But he didn't. Poor Pharaoh. You kind of feel sorry for him, don't you? The last one, though, is the worst. The last plague actually killed all of the firstborn sons, including the Pharaoh's, and he was very upset. And this time he did. He let the people go. And Moses ran to the people and told them to pack up really, really quick because the Pharaoh might change his mind. And they packed up really quick, everything they could grab really fast, and off they went and walked and walked and walked for miles and miles and miles. And then we find out what happens next week. You think the Pharaoh changed his mind? I don't know. But anyway, you can print out this book, and you can talk about the plagues. There's another little page of pages that talks about different things that the plagues did and how they affected the Egyptians and the land. So you'll know really how hard it was for them to have those plagues and deal with all the mess that they left. So I hope you enjoy the story of Moses part 3, and I hope you get to come to church with your family and in person and see your friends. I hope you had a good time at Bible Times. I heard that it was wonderful. I was so sad that I couldn't be there. All right, let's sing our prayer. May there always be sunshine. May there always be blue skies. May there always be children. May there always be you. May there always be stories. May there always be music. May there always be churches that we can go to. And I hope you do get to go to church. Now it's time to say goodbye to all my friends. Yes, it's time to say goodbye to all my friends. Oh, it's time to say goodbye, so give a smile and wink your eye. Yes, it's time to say goodbye to all my friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, church family. Have a great week, and don't forget, I love you.